Camera, I forgot to put on my sock puppet. Scandalous. Someone might have seen me. All right, Jordan. Bye, Jordan. uh, just one more week of Christmas vacation.
Oh, thank God.
Wait, did we say that? No, not us. We would never say that.
Okay, yeah, Mommy.
Well, here he comes.
I fixed the bios, and you know what I did?
What did you do, buddy?
I grabbed 22 nuclear bombs and exploded them.
Okay, great.
And now the biomes are destroyed.
Okay, I'm going to record now.
The biome went, oh.
Okay.
I don't know if I can make another one. And maybe I'll make another one.
Hey, listen, Mommy's recording, okay?
Okay, I'll make a pyramid of 100,000 TNT and ignite it and blow it up.
Sounds good, buddy.
And crash my game.
Okay.
He's very excited about blowing things up. You should probably be concerned about that.
Did you hear him? He's had 20 nuclear bombs and blew up his biomes.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yep, you should definitely be worried about that.
He's so funny.
He's definitely going to be either a supervillain or he's just going to be president.
No, I told you that I literally say to people, he's either going to be an astrophysicist or the guy who robs the astrophysicists.
Why not both?
That's what somebody else said to me too.
He's literally that meme. Why not both?
I know. He's so funny though. Like, he just, I'll tell you, I don't know. I mean, I'm smart and Alex is smart, you know, but this kid is something else. And his brother is very smart too.
Are you sure that both of them belong to you?
Suck my dick.
You mean your spirit dick?
Yes.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Yeah, it's frigid here too. It's 48 degrees.
Wow. So cold.
Let me look. Let me look what it is right now. Oh, it's only 21 in Niagara Falls though, and it was snowing this morning. I was like, let me move there.
Yeah, Kyle's super excited. They're up in New York for holidays, and they got a ton of snow.
Oh yeah, it was the snowiest year for New York City.
Yeah,
like that in 4 years.
He's very happy about this. He was when they stopped over on their way up to New York. He was saying that he was hoping it would snow, and it did.
Oh, I'm so happy that you got to see him.
Oh yeah, we played Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, no, we did a one-shot campaign. We did a one-shot campaign in the afternoon. Like they were here for the entire day, and I was like, "You want to play D&D?" He was like, "Yes," because he's never played before.
That's cool.
So me, Anastasia, and Kyle played. You know, we showed him how to play, and then we played, and he loved every second of it.
You're lucky to have power there. Where are you at? Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you. I always love when you get to see Kyle.
It was a nice day.
I saw videos of Buffalo yesterday, and it was insane. There was so much wind that it looked like a hurricane. It was destroying things. It was flooded over by Lake Erie, and then I messaged my cousin, New Brunswick. Yeah.
Oof. Yeah, no, it's 32 degrees here. Feels like 20.
I'm glad that you felt that you had to clarify that was Canada. I'm actually from Niagara Falls, so I'm basically Canadian.
Can't wait to visit. It's going to be so weird driving through like the white trash part and then driving over the bridge and be like, oh, look, it's a modern country.
Well, Let me just tell you that Niagara Falls on the U.S. side used to be really, really, really nice. When I was a kid, it was very nice. But then I don't know what happened. Like they stopped investing. It's crazy too because it's such a tourist attraction. But on the US side, they heavily invested in manufacturing, like a lot of northeastern cities, you know?
Mm-hmm.
We had like DuPont, all kinds of, you'll see it if you drive in the right part, which I'm assuming you will if you come up the same way that I do from your area. You will. You'll see all of the old plants and stuff. But then in Canada, they heavily invested in tourism, and that really paid off. So
I mean, I was there when I was like 13,
yeah,
13, 14 years old, and I don't remember anything. Like, we didn't go over. Like, we didn't go into Canada, so we
so
only
you
stayed
were in
on
Niagara
the.
Falls.
Yeah, we only stayed in. We were only on the American side, and I knew what slums looked like at that point. Like, I was familiar with the concept, and I don't remember.
That's funny because you were there when I lived there. Then probably. Wait, yeah, yeah. Because how much older are you than me?
Not that much. You're in your 40s now, so
Okay, how old are you now?
52.
52. Oh, so you are. So when you went there, I was like a year old.
We probably saw you with a stroller when we walked by.
Yeah, probably. But no, it was
Yeah, Wazak said Dad always took us on the Maid of the Mist. Loved it.
yes,
Mom
it's
hated it.
funny.
On the Maid of the Mist.
I've never been on the Maid of the Mist, and I live there.
I have every intention of taking the kids on the Maid of the Mist on spring break.
You should take the kids on the American side down to the Cave of the Winds because you can walk like on these wooden it's like a wooden staircase, and you can get so close to the falls that you get soaking wet. So just make sure that you have an extra change of clothes. They have bathrooms up there.
Yeah, no, we're definitely going to cross back over because there's that little island that sticks out.
Goat Island.
That's on the American side. So
Goat Island. That's where Tesla is. The Nicholas Tesla statue is.
Oh, I did see something about
Nikola
that.
Tesla. I have a picture with it.
Yeah, the
recently.
good Tesla.
Yeah, the good Tesla. Yeah, they have like Three Sisters Islands and stuff over there. It's so funny though, because if you go towards like the little islands on the American side, you'll see all of these signs that say "Do not get into the water," and I'm like, who the fuck would get into the water? And my uncle goes, me. Apparently, when they were kids, they used to all get into the water. And
that
this is
sound safe.
No, because like if you go just a little bit further, like 100 yards, you're going over the fucking falls. So,
because the currents will just yank you.
yeah, they'll just. My mom used to say, if you put one finger in that water, it'll pull you in and take you over the falls.
Which people, just love doing with their barrels.
Yeah, seriously. I'll send you a picture though of like people in the water over by Goat Island. It's crazy. I could never.
All right.
Oh wait.
Mommy. POV, this was Hiroshima when we bombed.
Oh my god. Nathan. Hey, what did we talk about? Why did the United States bomb Hiroshima?
Because they wanted to test out our nukes.
That's right. Go in the bedroom,
Oh
please.
my god, that thing is lagging.
Oh my god. Mommy's recording.
Screenshot. I'm taking a screenshot.
Okay, thank you. I'll look at the screenshot later.
Oh my god.
History lessons by Nathan. In a year or two, he's going to have to come on and just do a segment every week.
Oh my gosh, he's so funny. Mommy, this is what it looked like when we bombed Hiroshima, for fuck's sakes. His liberal mother just did like I touched my eyes and I was like, oh god, everybody hears him. Oh, it's like when he was doing something, he goes, classic Nazi Germany. I go, what the fuck? I go, Nathan, do you know what Nazi Germany did? He goes, yeah, they tried to expand and take all these other countries. And I was like, that's not the only thing. And then I had to explain to him what World War II was and Holocaust and all of that stuff. So that was fun. I was like, baby, you can't say classic Nazi Germany ever. Like, that's a no-go. Like, you can't ever say that.
Hey, what's going on, Nick? Nick joined just as we started talking about Nazis. He's like, oh, whoa, what did I just walk into here?
Yes, that's amazing. Hey, listen, I need you to go stay in the room for an hour. Mommy's recording. Go. I fear we're going to have little Nathan voices on our
Oh boy,
podcast today.
you're gonna have so much fun editing this.
I'll probably just leave him in when he interrupts. Give our listener something to laugh at.
Let's see. Which Nick wants to know which concentration camp he should go to. Well, we're going to have so many to pick from. My God, we'll have one in every state now.
Alligator Auschwitz is closed, so.
Is it though?
It is actually. Donna was down in Fort Lauderdale, or she went to go see. She had my godson had a soccer game, and she decided to take 41 to get there, and she drove past it. It was closed.
Oh, yay! Surprised they actually did what the judges said.
Yeah, weird.
All right, shall we get started?
Laura, you love Nathan. Well, you can if you want to take him. He's has a whole week of vacation left.
Stephen Miller's like the mutated clone of Hitler. Some education is a lamp asks if if Stephen Miller's the reincarnation.
No, he's Joseph Goebbels.
Oh, Goebbels. Yeah.
Goebbels. Goebbels. There's no R in his name though.
Yeah, it's Germany. It's German. What do you want?
Yes, it's closed.
All right, let us get started.
Go Blues. Okay, let's go.
Episode 79. This is the Opinionated Ogre Podcast, your weekly rampage through current events with a little snark, a bit of foul language, and a lot of strong opinions. There are new episodes every Thursday, and they're not safe for work or polite company of any kind whatsoever. I am your podcast host, the Opinionated Ogre, and this is my co-host, Florida Woman. We are back after taking one whole week off from podcasting. Like Christmas is any excuse to stop working in America. What are we, socialists now? Is this part of the war on Christmas? Ugh. Anyway, hi, Florida Woman.
Hello. Well, Christmas is a Christian holiday, and if you want to put the Christ back in Christmas, you have to stop working.
Man, if freaking Christians wanted to put the Christ back in Christmas, they'd stop. They would just remove themselves from it because American Christians are the worst.
Well, they have bumper stickers that say put the Christ back in Christmas, so clearly they are doing God's work.
By putting kids in cages and torturing children and defending pedophilia.
Jesus hated children. That's why he didn't save them on the ark.
Yep, there you go. Wait, no, that's the Jewish Bible. That doesn't count. Anyway, so how was your Christmas?
It was really good. My kids had a lot of fun. Aiden got Birkenstocks, and then he called them Birks, and I was like, oh, good Lord, I'm raising an old person. And then and Nathan loved all of his toys, especially the Play-Doh. So, good
and
days.
he got a kick out of his Huntrix tickets, his Saja Boy tickets.
Saja Boy tickets, he did. He loved them. He wants me to frame them. Put them in
I picked at the last convention that Anastasia and I went to. Someone was selling mock-up concert tickets to the Saja Boys from K-pop Demon Hunters, and I saw that and I was like, I think Nathan will love these. So I sent them, and he did apparently.
Yeah, Nathan is a huge K-pop Demon Hunter fan. I mean,
everyone's a huge K-pop Demon Hunter fan.
We listened to the minute that he watched the movie. I think it was like a couple days old. We have been listening to the soundtrack ever since.
So has Jordan. He plays it constantly on YouTube.
I love that.
So, all right. So this is a recording for December 31st, 2025. And we are doing something a little bit different for episode 79, the final episode of the year. Instead of covering the news since the last time you joined us, we decided to take a look ahead and give you our best guesses for what's coming down the road. Not gonna lie, it's not a pretty picture, but it's not all doom and gloom. So buckle up, my fellow ogres. 2026 is going to be fucking crazy. Are we ready to do this?
No.
No, but we're gonna do it anyway. Then let's get to it. It's time for the Ogre Nation. Blah, blah, blah. Let's try that again. I'm so used to saying Ogre Nation news update. It's like muscle memory now. All right. It's time for the Ogre Nation Future Forecast.
Roar?
Roar. Oh, that was super quiet. Hold on. God damn it. This thing just lowers the volume for some reason. It's
Well,
very
now you're
annoying.
talking through it, so you gotta.
I know.
Perfect.
There you go.
Maybe.
Probably. If not, that's what editing's for. Post edit. Let's get the obvious out of the way. First things first. Things are going to get worse before they get better.
No.
It's true. Cliches exist for a reason. We are in the middle of a fascist takeover that is failing spectacularly. The failing is good, but the reaction of the fascists is going to be terrible. Illegitimate power never lets go without a fight. And Stephen Miller and Russ Vogt will be ordering their puppet Donald Trump to burn it all down. They'll be desperate to either avoid prison for life or do so much damage the government collapses, because that will be a win for them too. Especially Vogt, whose entire life's work is to destroy the federal government so billionaires and theocratic lunatics can seize power. However, there are a few roadblocks in their way.
Like, for example, Trump and Republicans have become wildly unpopular. Their approval rating has fallen as low as 38%, and that is being generous. There's nothing coming down the road to improve it either, but it will start getting a lot worse for the Americans who begin to feel the full impact of the MAGA murder budget as its various horrible things go into effect.
Yay.
Trump's personal approval rating is a little bit higher, but even that is softening as the percent of Republicans who blindly love him, as opposed to just like him, is dropping. Without that cult-like worship, what is Trump but a dying, alleged pedophile who seemingly has dementia? Hold on, I have to cough. That cough has never gone away from when I was sick.
Damn.
And did you hear the flu is really, really bad this season?
Yeah, I saw something mentioning about someone was calling it super flu, and I'm like, oh, yay, Captain Trips.
I'm pretty sure that's what I had. Remember, I was sick for like 13 days. It was crazy. But anyways, the reason Trump's base is less than ecstatic over their daddy these days is as Republican as it gets. They're feeling the pain they assumed was only going to be inflicted on the people that they hate. Republicans are very, very stupid people. They can never seem to grasp that the cuts to SNAP, Medicaid, ACA subsidies, schools, and all of the other government programs that we all rely on won't just come out of the budgets for Black people in blue cities and blue states. That's not how taking $900 billion out of Medicaid or freezing all SNAP payments works. It's going to hit the poorest regions the hardest, and those tend to be in rural America, aka Trumplandia. And that's where all of the Trump voters live. The same Trump voters who were told that they would be showered in riches from the tariffs, but watch their jobs disappear and their health care costs triple. It's kind of hard to vote for the guy who did that, even when he's screaming the white nationalist hate that you crave on Twitter all day long. Getting your Klan boner on doesn't help when you can't put food on the table or get medication for your diabetes. Trump needs his base, but they needed him not to fuck them over quite as hard. Promises made, promises broken. And we here at the OgPod do enjoy watching the leopards eat all those crying MAGA faces.
Womp womp. Laura Tompkins points out that Quinnipiac, I can never pronounce it correctly.
Quinnipiac.
Yeah, them. Has who is it? Trump? It's either Trump or the GOP at 35% as of this morning, which would be Tuesday. So yeah, they're not doing very well. Womp womp. Meanwhile, the courts have become a major obstacle for the fascist agenda. Now, I personally was actually less worried about the courts rolling over than most people were. I watched them during Trump's first time in office and what happened after. With the exception of a few extremely shady judges like Eileen Cannon and the most cartoonishly corrupt Supreme Court in history, most of the judiciary is completely over the regime's bullshit. Judges no longer give the government the benefit of the doubt. These days, they don't believe a single fucking word the government says or assume good faith, which is the exact opposite of how courts have operated for well over a century. This was always going to happen because while you can lie all day long on Fox News and the legacy press will both sides everything to SCOTUS, you have to provide evidence when you accuse a state of rigging an election. You have to prove your political enemy cheated on their taxes or loan applications. You have to prove anything with actual facts, not just talking points and vibes. Even Trump appointed judges are refusing to just shit on the concept of the rule of law in favor of absolute lawlessness. A lot of this has to do with the utter stupidity and arrogance of the regime. Previous Republican presidents at least had the courtesy to be polite to judges when they lied to them. The Trump regime keeps walking into courtrooms and ordering judges to bend the knee, to which the increasingly belligerent response has been, go fuck yourself.
At the same time, the courts have been pushing back. The press has been coddling Trump just like it's been doing for the last decade. But the legacy press is nothing if not mercenary. And once they smell blood in the water, it's going to be very hard to keep them from consuming the regime in a feeding frenzy. This is why we believe the press has been uncharacteristically doomcasting the midterms for the Republican Party. They have historically hyped up red waves, even when all the evidence points to a red trickle. The legacy press has also historically downplayed blue waves, famously spending weeks insisting the 2018 results were no big deal after we all watched Republicans be crushed. But they're not doing that now. The press has been foaming at the mouth over how fucked the GOP is for almost 2 months, which would be almost a full year ahead of the 2026 midterms. For the press to not soft pedal the coming slaughter suggests that the coming slaughter is even worse than we think it is, or that the beatdown is so juicy they can't resist the story, or that the regime is so weak the press is circling for the kill. The only neutral journalists love more than
the only thing they love more.
The only thing neutral journalists love more than reporting the news is shaping the news they're supposed to be covering.
And this brings us to our next prediction. The 2026 midterms are going to be absolutely brutal for the regime and its party of spineless sycophants. Typically, redistricting only happens every 10 years. But the regime pressured GOP-led states to undertake mid-decade redistricting in 2025. Texas was the first state to change its maps and give Republicans 5 more seats. But North Carolina, Missouri, Utah, and Ohio followed. Unlike California, red states redrew the maps without voter input because, fuck democracy. While the maps were intended to offset the all but guaranteed losses in the 2026 midterms, their arrogance and stupidity, a recurring theme for them, may have just been their downfall. Experts have warned that the gerrymandering process likely made very safe Republican seats a lot less safe by diluting their power. Let's take Texas. They drew the new lines in a way that created districts that Trump won by 10 points or more, but did so by cannibalizing districts Trump won by 20 points or more. They believed the cushion would be enough, but over this last year, Democrats have flipped 5 House seats in special elections in districts Trump won by at least 13 points. That means Democrats could win back some, if not all, of the blue seats the GOP eliminated in their redistricting, plus a few more on top of that if Trump continues to destroy the economy and social safety nets. We here at the Pod would probably die laughing. Bonus, Republicans control every single lever of power in Texas, so they won't even be able to make a remotely credible case that the election was rigged, because they already tried to rig it.
They will try, though. Speaking of which, SCOTUS is trying really, really hard to put a thumb on the scale to help the GOP in the midterms. They're likely going to destroy what's left of the Voting Rights Act to allow the right to freely racially discriminate, something that they've wanted to do since
Good
forever.
Lord, yes.
They've already allowed the gerrymandered Texas map to stand. There's some concern that they may try to strike down California's map, but that would be really hard to do considering it was actually approved by voters. Though honestly, we could see a scenario where they use the shadow docket to do just that. How would they justify letting the Texas map stand using the hold on a second. Sorry, guys. Oh. How would they justify letting the Texas map stand using the argument that it's too close to the election to change, but not California? It wouldn't be the first time they've done that to help Republicans cheat, but it would be particularly, I almost said erogenous again.
Oh my God, I would have died.
It wouldn't be the first time they've done that to help Republicans cheat, but it would be particularly egregious. Only our long-term listeners know why we're laughing. It would be particularly egregious now, and Chief Justice John Roberts is still vaguely concerned about the illusion of credibility. Either way, it won't matter because we expect the blue wave to be a fucking tsunami. Everyone is predicting a wipeout, including the press and the GOP.
Now, this is really important because there's a lot of talk on the left about the GOP rigging the election. We've seen multiple posts on all of the social media sites with people screaming, they're going to rig it. Okay, Doomer, when you see that, tell those people to shut up. It's not impossible to rig an election, but it's incredibly unlikely that it would happen on a widespread scale in America, especially midterms, because elections are handled at the local level and midterms are so spread out and there's so many different candidates. It's really, a presidential election is hard to rig. Midterms with all the different candidates in all the different locations is really, really fucking hard to rig. So, just as we mentioned, everyone's predicting a disaster for the GOP. This is something we keep touching on, and we will continue to keep touching on it all year long because it matters. Plausibility is key to stealing an election. Plausibility or public inattention. In 2000, we had both. The public was not paying attention, and it was just plausible that Bush, quote unquote, won. But in a midterm where Republicans are losing everywhere, and again, in 2016, 2017, it was plausible, if only just, that Trump won. But again, in the midterms, where everyone understands Republicans are losing everywhere, no one would believe that the GOP suddenly surged in popularity and kept control of a House majority of 3. That they didn't just get wiped out. Maybe they can keep control in the Senate with a tie, because the Senate's always an uphill battle for Democrats. But it's impossible for anyone to believe that they held on to the House. So drop the doomer crap. It's surrender in advance, and it's lazy. Now, we suspect that's what Trump was trying to do with his invasion of blue cities, trying to intimidate voters with National Guard deployments so they would give up and stop resisting. But that backfired harder than a SpaceX rocket exploding on the launch pad. Mm-hmm. And to top it all off, all of the conditions that made the GOP phenomenally unpopular in 2025 are going to be grossly magnified in 2026.
Unfortunately, part of those conditions will be the coming 2026 economic crash. We've been talking about this for a while. The economy has been steadily crumbling under the regime's moronic policies. Tariffs had... We're both like having such a problem today.
I know. See what happens when we take a week off?
1 week and we're just screwed. Tariffs have caused prices to surge again and destroyed businesses across every sector of the economy. Imports are down. Exports have been savaged. Agriculture, tourism, construction, manufacturing, the list is endless, all negatively and severely impacted by Trump's obsession with an economic weapon he doesn't understand, but is being used by the people around him to cripple the economy. And why do they want to cripple the economy? Because an economic collapse means the regime can declare an emergency. And everyone knows that during an emergency, the regime just has to give itself emergency powers to fix everything. It's dictatorship 101. Create an emergency to solve, grab power, and never let go. As a bonus, you can send the population into desperate poverty, and a desperate populace won't have time to protest if they're scrambling to put food on the table. This is why the regime is going to watch unemployment rise and do as little as possible to stop it, as we've already seen them doing. Why they'll watch bankruptcies go through the roof and shrug their shoulders, why they're cutting SNAP and Medicaid and other services right as they tank the economy and people would need them the most. Malicious incompetence will send millions into extreme poverty, where hate radio will be waiting to tell them to blame immigrants and trans kids. The hope is to transform people into Republicans instead of Luigi's. I'm not sure they're going to like how that plays out, though, since they're being really loud and obvious about what they're doing. Trump literally said that he wanted the price of health insurance to go up so that he could collapse the ACA marketplace.
You
out of
can't
his mouth, he
announce your
said that.
you can't announce your supervillain plans and then expect people to be like, well, it's the Democrats.
And I'm so happy that he said it, because I will be playing that multiple times.
Yep. It's like, thanks for the commercial, dumbass.
Right. And believe me, that'll go in a commercial somewhere for the midterms. Wall Street's bottomless greed, of course, is doing its part to fuck everyone with a new subprime loan bubble, worse than the one that caused the 2008-2009 crash. I've been screaming about this for years because everybody thought that subprime mortgages stopped because of the what was the Frank Dodd Act?
Yeah.
But they did not. They just changed the name.
Yep. They literally just started calling them something else, and they're doing exactly the same thing.
They're not fixed rate mortgages. It's the other one. The somebody will tell us what they are. Anyways, so people's property, what is it? Oh my God, what is happening to my brain today? As people's property values rise, so does their interest rate and their mortgage payments. It's crazy. We've talked about this before. Previously, these loans were just on mortgages, and they resulted in the housing market bubble, which caused the worst recession in a century. Now they're doing exactly the same thing, but with loans on literally anything that they can make money off of. Home loans, car loans, loans for golf carts and groceries. All of those loans are starting to default as the economy sours and the bubble pops, and it's going to be ugly. They have Affirm, Afterpay, all of these things, where you can literally pay for groceries.
And people are doing it. That's because groceries are so expensive.
Because
people are using loans to pay for groceries.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Now, that's all going to be ugly, but it's not going to be as ugly as the one bubble keeping the economy artificially inflated, and technically not in a recession. The AI bubble is going to be something written about for the next 100 years. If you'll recall the dot-com frenzy of the 90s, you'll remember how ridiculous it was. Every company slapped .com on their name and instantly became worth hundreds of millions of dollars because people thought the internet was going to change everything overnight and make them billionaires. We're in the middle of the same kind of frenzy right now, but with a few crucial differences. The first one being the .com bubble wasn't wrong. It was just off by a decade. The internet did eventually change everything, and it unleashed an enormous amount of economic potential. The AI bubble is off as well, but definitely by more than a decade. And I'll explain why in a second. The other major difference is that the dot com bubble was a fraction of the size of the AI bubble. Companies spent $500 billion over the course of a decade before the dot com bubble burst. In comparison, Silicon Valley has spent almost 400 billion just in 2025 alone, and inflation does not account for that difference. It's just that much more money. And they plan to spend more each year for the next several years. So we're talking trillions of dollars they're pumping into the economy, but in a very limited, very narrow way that's not going to pay off. And that's the problem. Unlike the internet, which really was a revolutionary technology, AI as it currently stands is a dud. It doesn't work. Not the way the tech fucks say it does, and they swear it's going to. But that's bullshit. It's not going to become self aware and magically turn into the super sci fi AI from the movies. It's not going to solve world hunger and shower humanity in infinite wealth and immortality. And, oh yeah, Laura Tompkins points out the crypto shit is also, good God, that is just a massive multi-trillion-dollar scam.
Also, let me just tell you, the ogre has been ranting about cryptocurrency since like 2010 or something. Like
I've been ranting about it so long, I don't even remember when I started ranting about it. You literally had to remind me that I was ranting about it.
I was like, hey, remember when you used to rant about cryptocurrency all the time? And he was like, no. I was like, oh yeah, all the time.
I've hated crypto since I first learned about crypto. I've never trusted it. And it's been so long, I literally do not remember when I started hating it. It's just, I've never ever trusted it. So that's all going to implode at some point. You know, the crypto bubble is separate from the AI bubble. And God, you know, the crypto, I don't know how long that's going to go for, but man, that is just a giant pyramid scheme. But the AI bubble is going to pop. And it's never going to get more polished. AI is never. It's going to become more polished, but it's never going to stop hallucinating. It's never going to stop churning out gibberish when it can't steal the right answer from someone's real life work. It's never going to be able to tell the difference between gibberish and fact. The kind of AI they've built is not intelligent at all.
Did you hear that the Washington Post tried to do like a AI podcast and the facts were wrong?
I'm not surprised in the slightest. It just doesn't work. It's fundamentally broken. And they're going to have to start over with a completely different kind of programming to get where they want to go. I'm not saying that AI can't happen. I'm saying it can't happen with the tools they're using right now. It's kind of like trying to fly to the moon with an airplane. It cannot be done no matter how fast the plane or how powerful the engine. It won't work. But Silicon Valley won't admit that. They're lying about it in order to keep the hype and money going. And that kind of deception can only go on for so long before companies start seeing through the hype, which is happening. And we've talked about that before too. The majority of companies that have poured tons and tons of money into adopting AI have not seen any return on investment at all. Like you just mentioned, the Washington Post. They're not going to keep doing that because it clearly does not work. So they just wasted all this money on trying to do an AI podcast. Well, that's money they just set on fire. So, okay, well, now there's dozens and dozens and hundreds of companies that have set money on fire trying to make AI a thing. You can't make fetch happen. It's not going to happen. So
not a Mean Girls reference.
Hell yeah, I love Mean Girls. Anyway, it's unsustainable. And a technology that doesn't produce profits is a technology people will stop investing money in, especially one that is incredibly expensive and growing extremely unpopular with the public as it makes our energy and water bills go through the fucking roof. So when this bubble pops, and it will, the devastation to the economy will be unlike anything we've seen before. And what's going to make it worse is the $1 trillion bailout the regime is going to say is a matter of national security, but it's really just going to be a handout to Trump's rich friends. So the billionaires are going to get even richer as millions lose everything because of the billionaires' greed and arrogance. And that's not going to help the regime's popularity. And remember what we said about transforming people into more Luigis? This is how you do that. A whole lot of people are going to be like, whoa, 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 whoa. Why is my life destroyed? But why is Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg getting $1 trillion fucking bailout because their companies failed because the AI bubble popped? What makes them so fucking national security important that they're getting $1 trillion in taxpayer money and I can't get $20,000 to not be homeless? Fuck that. And that's how that you want to make more Luigis? That's how you make more fucking Luigis. So another side effect to that is it's going to supercharge the No Kings protests.
And that leads us to our next prediction. The No Kings protest is going to pass 15 million. If you thought people were pissed now, wait until the spring and early summer. The fall will be insane. We reached about 8 million a few months ago. By this time next year, we'll be talking about double that number. The economy is going to implode. If we're not in a full-blown recession or economic collapse by summer, we'll be lucky. As we keep saying, every week that passes by without a collapse is a miracle, and it's time for you to prepare for what's coming. So get on it, regardless.
Seriously.
Yeah. And we know that it's hard to get on it when everything is so expensive. Just a little bit at a time. Hold on a second. No, Bob. Regardless, when the collapse comes, people who have been trying to ignore the economy or blame both sides are going to be rip-roaring mad at the regime. Not rip-roaring.
Oh, yeah, rip-roaring. That's how us old-timers talk.
The party in charge always gets the blame, and everyone will know who blew it all up. One Donald J. Trump. When the $1 trillion bailout comes for Wall Street and Silicon Valley, even Trump's most devoted buttlickers.
That is not what I wrote.
Even Trump's most devoted bootlickers are going to be furious. While that's happening, Trump's increasingly loud demands for war are not sitting well with his base either. He was supposed to be the peace president. Anyone with a brain knew that this was stupid, but Trump promised to end all of the overseas interventions. Instead, we're going to war for oil again. There's just more of the usual neocon bullshit that drains our blood and treasure to make the rich richer. That's a hard pass for MAGA. Trump couldn't even be bothered to keep up the fentanyl lie for his base to at least pretend the war was for a good reason. Will MAGA be out in the streets protesting against a new war? Maybe pedophiles? They might.
Let's hope so. Likewise, Trump's corruption is just getting started. His family's cashing in on the presidency to the tune of billions. And all the people who cried bloody sad tears about Hunter Biden are curiously silent right now. Egged on by Putin and a Supreme Court who keeps telling him he's immune to the law, Trump will only grow bolder and more insultingly open about his greed and demands to be a dictator, sending millions more of us into the streets. While Trump is screeching his insanity on camera and on Twitter, Stephen Miller's army of Nazis will run rampant in American cities. Their violence will push people to get off the fence and take a stand, which will drive Miller into a rabid rage. more so than he does normally. His escalation will only serve to fuel more protests, creating a self defeating prophecy of resistance to his attempts to terrorize the country. The No Kings protests will swell to 10 million, then well beyond that, easily dwarfing what we saw in 2025. What happens after that? We don't know. But you can expect the regime to absolutely panic, and panicked animals make stupid mistakes. We need to be ready to capitalize on them, no matter how painful those mistakes are for us as a country.
So we're going to have to talk about ICE, unfortunately.
Yay.
This is one of the darker predictions and one that a lot of people aren't really prepared for. Sadly, my family is. Miller will have finished putting his white nationalist recruits through their wildly insufficient training and shoving them out onto the streets with a badge, a gun, and the belief that they are immune to all prosecution and consequences. As 2025 progressed, we saw just how bad this was going to get. Just in the last month, we've seen stories about a pregnant woman being dragged across the ground by rabid agents who were trying to meet their Miller-imposed quota. An American-born citizen was arrested after stopping at Taco Bell to get some food in Maryland. The woman's attorneys say that officials refused to release her despite being given her birth certificate. DHS moved her from Maryland to Louisiana and then to Texas to prepare for her deportation. But a federal judge stepped in and ordered the government to keep her in the U.S. until the courts could determine whether or not she was indeed an American. There are literally affidavits from people who were at her birth.
I watched her come out personally. Why are you deporting her?
And that's just one of the many stories about ICE detaining Americans. We've also seen people being beaten in the streets, their windows being smashed, ICE entering public restrooms and telling the women inside to pull up their pants.
Fucking perverts.
Breaking into homes without warrants, disappearing people to foreign prisons and domestic. And although it has been bad, experts believe the treatment of the immigrant communities in the U.S. And though it has been bad, experts believe the treatment of immigrant communities in the country founded by immigrants is only going to get worse. Recently, Miller put Customs and Border Protection, CBP, at the forefront of the mass deportations. The agency has a long track record of human rights violations, and it was reportedly pulled in because its agents are more prone to violence. Though, it is hard to imagine that they could be more violent than the untrained ICE agents on the streets right now.
Guess we're going to find out.
Yeah. Noreen Shaw, the director of government affairs at the ACLU, told Wired, quote, "I think we're just at the beginning. I think we ain't seen nothing yet. They will scale up dramatically in the coming months." They certainly have the money to do that. The MAGA murder budget gave DHS $170 billion to fund Trump's deportation efforts. The influx of money has made ICE the highest funded federal agency in American history. 1,200 local police and sheriff's departments around the country are now participating with DHS. And in Florida, the state's highway patrol has been given the authority to check immigration status. And of course, they've arrested Americans in the process.
Shocking.
To top it all off, DHS is in the process of trying to denaturalize hundreds of people. Despite all of the rhetoric about going after criminals and the worst of the worst and blah, 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 that was never the goal. Miller wants to create a white nationalist nation without immigrants or their American-born children. DHS was never going to be able to meet its quotas just by deporting criminals. That's why ICE and ZBP are arresting people as they leave Taco Bell drive-thrus. It's much easier to use a dragnet to pick up every brown person they see than to do targeted stings to get criminals off of the streets. If that means denaturalizing people that have been citizens for decades, that's what they're going to do. If that means that they have to beat pregnant women or zip tie naked children in frigid temperatures in the middle of the night, well, who cares? No manner of abuse is too much when the goal is a white America. This is going to be straight up Nazi shit, and Stephen Miller is in control of all of it.
But don't worry about the Nazis and ICE or the GOP, though, because something Gaza and both sides, y'all. Now, I need you to chalk this up under we're going to say we told you so a whole lot in 2026. The Republican Party is arguing with itself over how many Nazis is just the right amount to allow in the front door. Conservative Jews like Ben Shapiro are shocked to discover that his party is friendly to Nazis like Nick Fuentes. How can that be? My goodness, who knew? But we here on the OgPod have known for a long time that the American right is infested with pedophiles and Nazis and Christian nationalists. Frequently, the Venn diagram there is a perfect circle. Of course, the GOP is going to lose this battle, and the Nazis will consume the party. Right-wing extremism only goes in one direction. So the fascists will need their enablers to whitewash the GOP. And who better to do that than their fellow Jew haters? After all, they all hate Israel, so can't we all agree that something Gaza is more important than whatever silly little things the American Nazis may say? They all oppose genocide in Gaza just like we do. Now, you may think that sounds unlikely. That how could the far left side with Nazis? Allow me to remind you of how eager the alt-left was to join the far right over universal health care. White nationalism, misogyny, very unfortunate. But we can all agree that Medicare for all was more important than little disagreements, right? Yeah, that happened over and over again. The alt-left, which finds the idea of compromising with Democrats to be an uncrossable red line, never, always has room for the absolute worst people on the right. Do not think for 1 second they won't bond over their mutual loathing of Israel and Jews. And I can already hear the whining. Criticism of Israel is not anti-Semitism. Fuck you. You know exactly who I'm talking about, and I'm not wasting my time arguing with your bullshit. 6 months from now, when all of your favorite Free Gaza talking heads are cozying up to Nick Fuentes and patting each other on the back about how much they all hate Israel, you can ask yourself, how could I possibly have known that was coming? Then come back and ask me about the lotto numbers, because I can clearly see the future.
It's almost like we've seen this before.
I know, it's so weird.
Anyways, the press will seek to protect the GOP as well. A Republican Party taken over by Nazis is a party that cannot be protected by both-siderism. Unless, of course, Nazis are normalized or the left is magically transformed into the equivalent of Nazis. Or, a combination of both.
Totally.
Watch for this, because while the press will be looking to eat the GOP alive for its the GOP alive as it fails, it will also protect its long-term project of treating them as a normal political party. We've already seen this happening with Nick Fuentes and the whole Tucker Carlson fiasco.
Jesus.
They have to do this for a few reasons. First, to admit the GOP has become the party of fascist extremism would be to admit the left was right all along, and the legacy press would rather eat burning hot lava. Second, if the public understood how insane and dangerous the GOP was, they would never win another election, and it would threaten the status quo. That, above all, cannot be allowed. Protecting the status quo is why the press destroyed Joe Biden. He threatened to empower unions, break monopolies, and tilt too much power towards the middle and working class. He was very successful at it. Not all at once, of course, but even moving in that direction was enough to send the press into a wild panic. Look at how the New York Times is melting down over Zoran Mamdani And he's not even in office yet.
Absolute panic. It's just constant panic over there.
Constant panic. Biden was actually moving the needle, and the press responded by putting a literal fascist back into office rather than allow moderate reforms to continue. And that's who they are. And that's why they cannot allow the Nazification of the GOP to continue without being whitewashed. And I just want to mention that while that was happening with Biden, the press was literally complaining. People in the press were literally complaining that their views were down, like that their ratings were down.
Yeah, because Biden was boring.
Because Biden was boring.
Yep, he wasn't exciting enough because he was an adult who did the work without drama. God damn him. How could he not be exciting enough for them?
Damn him. He's just so old.
Now, speaking of age, Trump's health and cognitive collapse will become an unavoidable story no matter how hard the press tries to bury it. Trump is dying. The bruised hand, the swollen legs, the mysterious MRIs, multiple MRIs, and gibberish every time he opens his mouth are all proof that something ain't right with him. Whatever's wrong is progressive, which means he's going to get worse quickly.
Not progressive like us, guys.
Yeah, he's definitely not progressive. This is progressive in the bad way. It doesn't matter how many times he claims he's healthier than President Obama, which is, hilarious. Trump's decline is incurable. There's no long-term fix. They can't cover it up now. And his chief of staff, Susan Wiles, does not give a shit about him at all. She's pushing Trump to campaign next year to help Republicans save their majority, which is impossible for all the reasons we've already talked about today. The strain of campaigning will make whatever's wrong with Trump worse, possibly killing him and definitely exposing how damaged he is. His schedule is already bare bones. There's no chance he'll be able to travel around the country and speak at events for Republican candidates the way he did in 2018. It doesn't matter how many little bumps little Marco and Don Jr. give him. Anyway, as Trump pushes himself, or rather he's pushed by his staff, to protect the House majority he needs to shield himself from investigation, his health will erode to the point of collapse or close to it. He'll spend so much time on, or he'll spend so much time on camera drooling nonsense that questions about his mental competence will become unavoidable, even for a legacy press that has perfected sane washing. By the midterms, Trump will have either been yanked off the trail because dying in public will cause panic among the MAGA base, or he'll be inflicting massive harm on the party with his incoherent babbling. One way or the other, Trump's health will become a story that just cannot be buried any longer. Unless Trump drops dead, unless Trump drops dead, then we'll just bury him and line up to piss on his grave.
Funny enough, JD Vance will roll out his 2028 campaign at the same time Trump is dying in front of live audiences. Probably just a coincidence and not a conspiracy at all. It won't matter. It's going to be a disaster, even with Erica Kirk blowing him on stage in tight leather pants. Vance still has the charisma of week-old Trump-branded yogurt left in a dumpster. Kirk actually endorsed him at a recent TP USA Klan meeting, and response to his impending candidacy has been non-existent.
Aww.
There was more chatter about the sainted widow wearing a sparkly pantsuit months after her husband was murdered.
All praise St. Charlie the Exsanguinated.
Than there was about Vice President Wet Rag running. It's important to remember that Vance was created and owned by Peter Thiel. He's part of that creepy Silicon Valley digital immortality cult that the tech fuck billionaires belong to. they are going to spend unlimited money to put their puppet in the White House, which is why they forced Trump to make Vance the VP in the first place, especially when they know that the AI bubble is going to pop. But Trump will flip-flop on support because he won't remember that he's been told to say that he won't remember what he's been told to say. And also, he loves the drama and humiliating people. He also absolutely hates it when anybody else gets attention. If Vance starts his campaign too early, Trump will consider it disrespectful and go nuclear. And who knows? He may even have a violent mob sent to the Capitol.
Wait, don't you mean a peaceful gathering of America loving patriots?
That's right. Tourists, my bad.
Tourists. That's right. All right. Now, hovering above over all of this will be the Epstein files. The Epstein files are only going to get worse. And the worst people you know are going to spend every waking moment trying to make it disappear. This became very clear over the Christmas break when the DOJ was literally in its comments section claiming the files were full of false information. For example, there was a DOJ memo in the first round of dropped files that was dated 2020 and discussed Trump's multiple flights on Epstein's plane. Remember, Trump has repeatedly claimed he was never on the pedophile's jet. What did they call it? The Lolita Express?
Yeah.
Yeah. In response to that new information, the DOJ released a statement on Twitter claiming some of the documents contained, quote, untrue and sensationalist claims made against President Trump. Uh-huh.
And as the DOJ weekly tries to protect Trump, the department has claimed that it found 1 million more Epstein files and said that they have to review them.
Uh-huh.
Of course, that makes no sense. And the documents were only found after lawmakers on both sides of the aisle started questioning why the first document dump was missing pages and was obviously incomplete.
Wait, were they found in Trump's bathroom?
Maybe right by the toilet. Trump lost his shit when he heard the department was releasing more files. He demanded, quote, when do they say no more? Wait, let me. He demanded, quote, when do they say no more? And he started talking about other things. Weird that he's so eager to let a pedophile, or weird that he's so weird that he's so eager to let pedophiles go without punishment. Pedophiles, he insists, were all Democrats. So is Trump protecting Democrats?
Oh yeah, he's their best friend.
It's very reminiscent. It's very reminiscent of the January 6th thing. Remember when they started out and they were like, oh, they're Democrats attacking the Capitol.
Yeah, it was all Antifa. They're all Antifa. Then why did he pardon them?
Yeah, and when he pardoned them, I was like, so he pardoned Antifa?
they still say it though. That's the weird thing. They still say the FBI and Antifa. It's like, but he pardoned them. So are they Antifa? Or what? What are you even talking about? It's literally 1984.
I know, it's so funny. And they hate it when when you just press them. Ogre taught me a really good debate tactic with Republicans. You just keep repeating the same thing. Don't let them ever change the subject. And they rage so hard.
Oh my God, they do. It's so much fun.
On the topic of documents, it was interesting to see that some of the redactions were not done properly, and the information was recovered by internet sleuths by just copying and pasting into, what is it, Adobe Shop or whatever? Is it Adobe?
I think so.
Whatever.
It was just bad.
Anyways, some people thought it was because the regime is so incompetent, but it seems more likely that it was intentional. Who did it? We'll probably never know. But whoever it was, we would like to salute them for their bravery or stupidity. We're not really sure yet.
All right. It's gotten so bad that the regime, it's gotten so bad for the regime that the word has gone out. The enablers on the alt-left have entered the chat room. Matt Taibbi and Michael Tracy, two of the most progressives who have ever progressed, have spent the last couple of weeks on Substack arguing, and I shit you not, that Jeffrey Epstein is not actually a pedophile, which I was absolutely stunned to see that they're doing this. Remember, Matt Taibbi is supposed to be a world-class journalist. and he's openly arguing that this is not happening. Tracy openly refers to the children Epstein raped and trafficked as victims in quotes. He does this over and over because he doesn't
So
think they're
gross.
actually victims. And Taibbi insists that we don't really know if children were raped, so can we really call Epstein a pedophile? Never mind that the victims, dozens and dozens and dozens of them, have said publicly that they were raped as children. And let's ignore the mountain of documents describing how Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and their buddies would rape and torture little girls. None of that counts. We just don't know for sure. And this, according to Taibbi, smells just like another Democratic Russiagate hoax. It must be all about destroying Trump. And who can really say what is true? Meanwhile, Glenn Greenwald, another totally lefty leftist who's leftier than you corporate sellout. He knows the real villain in the Epstein scandal is Israel and the Jews. Oh, I'm sorry, the Zionists. The alt-left has been, and again, I shit you not, constructing this really elaborate stringboard to connect Epstein and Maxwell to Israel because it all has to be a giant conspiracy run by the Jews. Oh, I'm sorry, I mean Zionists. And hey, why are we even talking about Trump? Don't you know the real enemy is the Jews? I mean, Israel. The fact that Greenwald is a gay Jew working for literal Nazis is really quite something.
I mean,
The word quisling doesn't even begin to cover it.
ugh.
But this is what the alt-left does. They pretend to be the true stewards of the left, and then they lie and lie and lie to protect the fascist right at all costs. They stab the progressive movement in the back over and over again to keep Republicans in power, and I really wish people on the left would wake the fuck up to this shit.
Well, aside from the anti-left, well, basically, aside from the alt-left's bullshit, the right is desperately trying to make this a democratic problem. Like we mentioned earlier, Trump continues to try to steer the narrative in that direction, and will undoubtedly continue to do so in 2026. But nobody cares if Democrats are on the list. We don't protect pedophiles. Hell, we don't even support our beloved lawmakers when there are multiple allegations of sexual harassment against them. Andrew Cuomo and Al Franken can tell you all about that because they learned the hard way.
Womp womp.
The idea that we would give a single solitary fuck about sending Bill Clinton or any Democrat to prison for hurting a kid is laughable.
They really do keep saying that. It's like, oh, we're gonna get Bill Clinton, and we keep saying, okay, cool, go for it. Now do Donald Trump, and then they just get really, really fucking mad. It's so funny.
Ironically, Bill Clinton's like, release it all. I don't care.
At this point, I think he'd be like, oh, fuck it. If I go to jail and take Donald Trump with me, that's cool.
Yeah.
Which would be really funny, actually.
Yeah, I would laugh about that. But anyways, let's not get off topic.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
But here's the thing. The GOP catered to the QAnon wing of the MAGA base hard over the last decade, but especially in the last 5 years. The Marjorie Taylor Greens of the movement have always made it very, very clear that the base wants every single name on the list. And Trump claimed that he did too. And they believed him. They said he was their white hat and he was going to save the children. Now, the base is starting to turn on Trump because he's walking back his promises. They see how he's trying to change the subject, hide the files, and blame Democrats. A lot of them are furious. Hell, Green quit Congress over it. The GOP is used to whipping up its base into a frenzy and then changing the subject. But these people aren't letting it go. They want pedophiles to burn, and that's really freaking Republicans out.
And one can only wonder why a party infested with pedophiles which has been moving towards making sex with children an official part of their ideology for
Like,
the last,
actually.
yeah, really, for the last decade or more, would choose pedophilia as their ultimate evil. Accusing the other side of that which you are guilty is a good propaganda technique and all, but there's a limit. And I guess we found that this is it. And now the GOP is going to pay the price for putting a child raping degenerate, allegedly, in charge of their party. I only say allegedly because Florida woman makes me say it. Now, they all knew who he was, but they let the promise of power blind them to the obvious risks of putting an alleged child raping degenerate in charge. We'd feel bad, but they're Republicans, so they can burn in hell for eternity and pass the popcorn.
And I just want to say that this, some people might hear that and go, oh, that's hyperbole. Like, it's not. They've tried to make marriage to minors legal in multiple states. That rapist ran for Senate in Alabama and almost won.
And they defended it.
And they defended it.
They openly defended it.
Right. So this is not like, oh,
and the fringe of the far right is overwhelmed with pedophiles.
Right. Remember the Duggars? How the Duggars were huge Republican donors. And everybody was like, oh my God, he raped his sisters and his parents hid it. And then they were still like supporting the family. This is not hyperbole. Just go look. Go fucking look. And you're not going to find Democrats. We're not supporting pedophiles.
We burn them at the stake as soon as we find them.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, we don't even support people who are accused of sexual assault. And people loved Al Franken. So
yeah, and we chucked him over the side. Bye.
Yep. So anyways, well, for our last prediction of the year, as public resistance to Trump goes and Trump gets weaker. Wait.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second. As public resistance to Trump grows stronger and Trump gets weaker, there's going to be an increasing corporate resistance. Not because they're good people, though, but because money talks. And the very real threat of criminal investigations from a Democratic DOJ is going to spook the rich. We've talked about this as well. Jamie Dimon. Oh, I had it the first time. I should have just gone with my gut. Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, said out loud the thing that no one dared to speak. There's going to be a future DOJ controlled by Democrats, and they will come asking uncomfortable questions about open bribes corporations have been giving Trump. All those lovely, lucrative mergers will be at risk. The fines will be massive, insider trading will be exposed, and people will go to jail for that. Democrats have not been particularly shy about making threats. But unlike Trump's threats of retaliation if corporations do not bend the knee, Democrats are signaling that they are going to come for the corporations and the billionaires who broke the law to enrich themselves by sucking up to the regime. The howls of protest will be deafening because the rich and powerful do not like accountability on the best of days. Now, the deal was that they would support fascism and never face any consequences. I don't know why they thought that would happen, but
if you have a permanent fascist government, then you'll never face accountability.
Yeah. The idea that there will be a price to pay will be intolerable for them. It will also push others to suddenly rediscover how much they love the rule of law and democracy. Remember in 2020 when corporations discovered that they loved Black people?
Yep. And gay people.
And gay people. And then suddenly they were like, oh, we hate you all. It's going to be like that again.
Yep.
Companies that would have just caved and paid Trump his bribe are going to start fighting in court. Not because it's the moral thing to do, but to prove to the public that they're not bootlickers. And please don't investigate them when the regime falls. You can always count on the cowardice of the rich.
Oh yeah, 100%. All right. So that's what we can look forward to in 2026. A flailing regime lashing out in panic as it crashes the economy and unleashes an army of Nazis to terrorize the nation. But there's a light at the end of the tunnel. The midterms are an unstoppable freight train barreling towards the fascist fucks, and they're too stupid to get off the tracks. There's a reason the regime has been freaking out over losing control of Congress, or even just one chamber. Trump is dying, and JD Vance is all they have to replace him. They know their only hope is to never have another election because Vance is not a replacement for Trump. He'll excite the base slightly less than a wet paper bag wrapped in 50 pounds of dog shit. They must finish their takeover by 2028. But a democratically controlled Congress will grind the entire project of fascism to a standstill. The speed run to a permanent authoritarian regime only works with a compliant legislative branch controlled by Republican cowards. Even just one chamber under Democratic control blows all of that up. And that's going to happen because Republicans have been so arrogant, they punched everyone they needed on their side in the face. Latinos, the courts, their own fucking voters, again and again and again. Masterful gambit. Well played, morons. Accordingly, the No Kings protests are going to swell, giving Democrats all of the public support they need to investigate everything and everyone that has been wallowing in corruption for the last year. And corporate America is going to figure out the jig is up. This will become especially clear as Trump continues to die in front of us on national TV. His cognitive collapse and failing health are becoming impossible to hide. Without their emperor, who's in control of MAGA? Fox News, Stephen Miller, Russell Vogt, JD Vance, Erica Kirk's leather pants. 2026 is going to be a year of horrific violence and suffering. It's not making me laugh. This is not a line to laugh at.
Not the leather pants. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
2026 will be a year of horrific violence and suffering, but also a year where our resolve to crush fascism solidifies into an unbreakable wave sweeping Republicans out of power. We will be lied to by the press and pretenders and enablers and traitors, but the crimes and cruelty and incompetence of the regime will be impossible to hide. The public is already done with them, and next year will be the year we put a muzzle on the rabid animals. Next November will be here before you know it. And don't let anyone tell you that it's hopeless or that it's rigged, and what's the point in even trying? Those people do not have your best interest in mind. Ignore them and keep pushing. If the fascists weren't terrified, they wouldn't be sending the military into American cities. They wouldn't be ordering ICE to assault pregnant women. They wouldn't be trying to start a war in South America. These are not the actions of a regime confident of its success. These are the actions of cowards afraid of what's coming for them. We are. We are coming for them, and they will do anything to hide from that day of reckoning. There is either a lifetime in a small cell waiting for them, or a hangman's noose at the gallows for their crimes. Make 2026 the year the fascists learn to fear for their lives again. What better thing to drink to on New Year's Eve? Cheers, Ogre Nation. Damn, and a door shutting at the same time. Ooh, good timing, whoever that was.
Nathan, of course.
All right, Nathan.
Mommy.
All right, that is it for 2025. The Opinionated Ogre podcast, like the newsletter, is free and 100% supported by you, our amazing audience. We have no advertisers or sponsors, so please consider becoming a paid subscriber for only $5 a month or just $50 a year. If you'd prefer a one-time donation, we now have a PayPal button for your convenience. You can also help by giving us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening. Help others join the Ogre Nation conversation by sharing the OgPod on whatever social media platform you're using. You can find me at the Opinionated Ogre on Substack, Blue Sky, and also on TikTok. Florida Woman, where can our beloved audience find you?
You guys can find me at Florida Woman Rants on Substack. And thank you to everybody who donated to us last year on PayPal. We appreciate you. Well,
Yes, we do. You guys are awesome.
Yes, we love you. Thank you.
The next Blue Wave is coming November 3rd, 2026. That's our D-Day, when we stormed the beaches and stomped the Nazis into the dirt. They can't stop it. Remember, stay strong. You are not alone. We beat the fascists once, and we will fucking do it again. Adios.
Adios.
As she yawns.
That episode was so funny.
Depressing yet funny.
Yes, I know. But the leather pants, I was still laughing after I muted myself. Congratulations on 41 years total sobriety.
Oh, nicely done, X.
We love that for you. Meanwhile, I took a shot yesterday of chocolate crown because I'm moving and a whole bunch of things. It's like, and my husband walked in, he goes, "No, don't do it." I was like, well,
I've been indulging this break because I haven't had to drive that much, so that means I get to drink.
61.
Next week I go back to driving people around. So no drinking for me.
How are you supposed to prepare for what, like the economic collapse?
Man, I have an entire article for that. Actually, I have a couple of articles for that. Hold on. Let me go find that link for you.
Yeah, he will find the link for you.
Give me a second. I have to write a new one, but I can, there's not a whole lot to update.
Essentially, don't ask me because the only thing I prepare for is hurricanes. But I am actually going to stay with my mom so that I don't have to pay rent, which is super crazy when you're 40 years old to live with your mom. So I have to keep telling myself, like, hey, in other countries, multi-generations live together. But for me, it just feels like moving backwards. Unfortunately, that's what happens when you have like an immigrant husband and a country who hates immigrants and, all of that stuff.
Let's see. I've got 2 of them here. I don't remember which one was more useful, but I will put both links in.
Yeah, I always try to explain to people, I don't think you understand. Even my husband is a legal immigrant, but he's still an immigrant. What it's like to worry that your spouse won't come home.
I can't even imagine. Like, I understand the concept, but it's like I understand what it's like to be pregnant. I understand the concept. It doesn't mean I understand what it's like to be pregnant.
I mean, we have relatives who aren't even leaving their house because they're afraid of ICE. And we have one relative who's her daughter is really sick. Her minor daughter has a rare blood condition.
Oops. No.
And she's so afraid that she's going to get deported if she goes out. And she's under status. That's crazy. But anyway, so yeah, if you don't have an immigrant to worry about in your household, we suggest just buying a couple of extra canned goods when you go to the store. Maybe if you can, put any money away, that is good. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
He's posting links too.
Like, pay out, try to get rid of any debt that you have. Because if you don't have debt, if you don't have any real outstanding debt, that gives you a lot of flexibility when things get bad. Soup is great because it's a meal and it's cheap and it stores for a really long time. Same thing with rice and beans. This is what WazX is saying here. Rice and beans. You can buy a whole lot of rice and a whole lot of beans, and it stores for a really, really long time. Very, very helpful.
And make sure you get Imodium because your stomach is going to hurt because this shit's stressful.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, but no, like, take care of any medical stuff that you like, stuff that you've been putting off, repairs, medical stuff. Get it done before, because if you have a job with medical insurance, use it now.
Yeah.
Because if you have if you have dental insurance, you don't want to find out 2 weeks after you lose your dental insurance that you have cavities or that you need a crown, because that shit, it's like $400 or $500 with insurance.
Yeah, I paid $6,000 when I had to get 2 crowns when I was pregnant with Nathan.
Exactly. It's outrageously expensive. So that's all stuff you just want to get it taken care of. Like, honestly, just in case.
Yeah,
And
it's just it's gonna be 2026 is gonna be bad.
oh, and stupid little thing, if you have food that's not in cans and jars, like if it's in bags or boxes, put it in a container. Put it in a larger plastic container.
Yeah, to keep the little bugs out.
To keep bugs or keep the cucarachas and rodents.
I didn't
Even if you think your place is safe, you don't want to like go in there like after 6 months. It's like, all right, let me get this bag of rice. Oh shit, someone's been chewing at it. Now I can't use this bag or the one next to it because I've been chewed on too.
I would move out if I saw something chewed on. I'd just leave my house.
Well, that's assuming you have the money.
When we left the trailers, because we had we knew that we had a rat in the trailer, and I was like, oh, I'm just leaving. And I did. I literally didn't take anything with me. I just moved here. I don't have the money to do that again, but it was nice. No. My dog screamed when he saw the mouse. My dog was like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, my two cats, my last two cats. No, that's not true. No, it was my last two cats. My last two cats were mousers. They saw mice, they killed them and ate them.
That's gross.
Whereas Claudia's cats thought they were fun and played with them.
Ugh.
They were like, oh, I want to be your friend. My cats were like, oh, you are food.
I mean, how many mice are we seeing in apartments?
In our last building.
Thank you.
Yeah, they were coming from outside because we lived right on the back of some woods.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. You were backed up to woods.
Yeah, so they were coming from outside, and
I cannot even. Yeah. I mean, I cannot tell you how,
they weren't rats. They were mice. They were small, but Lump and Sandy Tish loved that we had a couple of mice because they were like, oh my God, this is the greatest day of my life. Like God damn it. Lump was super excited. Like, he killed it and then he put it down for like, look, a trophy for you. Look what I've done. He was very excited.
I've been thinking about moving into an apartment. I haven't lived in an apartment since I was like 20 and even not, or like 18, and even that wasn't for that long. But all I can think about is if somebody else has roaches, like I'm going to get roaches, and I just can't do cockroaches.
Yeah, that's always a problem. If you live in an apartment building, you will see roaches.
We had it when we lived in a triplex, and we had roaches because our neighbors had roaches. And we tried to get the whole building or the whole thing to treat them, and they didn't.
And even then, it's just all it takes is one person being a little gross. And
no, I know. And even not like in Florida, you just get them. Like in Florida, unfortunately, they just are a thing.
And don't you have like giant ones?
Yes. Actually, they just fly into your house and harass you. They're like the size of your fucking hand.
I saw that once in New York. We were getting ready to move. Hey, what's up, Dana?
Hi, Dana.
We were getting ready to move from our apartment. And we had occasional roaches, but like they were like regular ones. We didn't get too many of them in this particular apartment. It was a house. So it was like a 2-family house. And then I was looking up on the wall, and it was like, that looks like a roach, but it's like 5 inches long.
Yeah,
it can't be a roach.
Palmetto bugs.
And then it flew at me, and I'm like, ah!
Once, if you've never, let me just tell you a funny story. So we moved. Yeah, we're talking about palmetto bugs.
I saw them in Hawaii.
Which
I've never
ironically,
seen them in New York.
Which ironically, a palmetto is like the name of a town near me. But anyways, and also a name of a palm tree, just in case anybody doesn't know that. But so when we moved to Florida, like in Niagara Falls, you don't see cockroaches.
It's too cold for them.
Yeah, the only time you see cockroaches in Niagara Falls is if somebody's house is really disgusting. I saw cockroaches one time in my entire life when I lived in New York, and it was like in a bag of like rotting potatoes in an apartment that somebody had moved out of and my mom was cleaning it. But we moved to Florida and we lived in like not the best neighborhood. And I'll never forget it because my mom's like a clean freak. She woke up in the middle of the night and she turned on the light and like a million little cockroaches ran. And she screamed at the top of her fucking lungs. And she was like, I'm going back home. Oh, wolf spiders are crazy because they jump at you and they're huge and they carry their babies on their back.
No, that's a hard pass for me.
And they, I learned real quick not to kill a big spider that I've seen in my house. But so then the next day, my older brother was in the backyard playing, and he stepped in an ant pile. Now we don't have red ants in Niagara Falls either. At least that wasn't something that we worried about. The worst thing that we ever had to worry about were like these pricker plants. They were like little weeds and they had prickers on them. So my mom ran into the backyard to get my older brother who was in an ant pile, right? So she went to go save him, runs in the backyard, no shoes on, runs through fucking sand spurs, and then falls in an anthill.
Ooh.
She was like, where the fuck did I move? Where did I move? And then we had an alligator in the backyard.
Wow.
I was younger, so I thought that everything was funny. I was like 7. I was like, oh, this is hilarious. My mom was not amused.
I finally got that 17 mil.
Florida woman simply doesn't live in the actual world. She writes it.
I finally got.
Hi, Nathan. Did you blow up the world with your nuclear bombs?
He did. He showed me pictures. We have cute little geckos too.
The 17 mil.
Okay, buddy.
17 million what?
He's playing Cubes 48 IO.
2048. You said 48.
Oh my! I'm so sorry. They're definitely gonna know what the game is now.
Oh well, there you go.
Cubes 2048 IO.
.io.
It's like a .io. It's like a snake game, but with numbers. Yeah, he is. He's so funny. He's the cutest thing.
Get it right, Mom.
I know. He's
God, you're so old.
Hey, you need to go get dressed because your big brother is on his way here.
I mean, I've already paused the thing 3 times to brush my teeth.
Oh, well, that's good. I'm glad that you brushed your teeth, honey.
Even though it's 11:30 and I have links between 11, 12, and 1, but...
Yeah, so... she reminds me of the movie thing. Listen. Yeah, it's no joke.
Florida baby's adorable. little Florida woman is adorable.
He's so funny. Every day he does something that makes me laugh.
I mean, it's that or cry, so.
Yes, he also is very spicy. Oh, man. You know...
It's all right. Every day Anastasia gets a little bit saltier. Like she just curses a bit more and more every day. It's like, oh man, she really is just like a New Yorker at heart, isn't she?
Do you mean how do I do this with like such a gap between them? Well, it's not. Let me tell you. Let me tell you.
Yep. Glad I don't have to worry about that. Actually, let's see. Hold on. Anastasia will be 16.
So
in another month, so I only
crazy.
have 2 more years of this, and she's an adult.
So those of you who are new here, or just don't know, my kids are 14 years apart. My husband and I have been married for 23 years, 22 years, for a long time.
Mommy.
And we found out that we were having him, this guy, when our oldest son was 13. Yes, buddy.
Check out my dance move.
Oh, wow. It's giving Stuart. Anyways,
I'm sure Ada will be here.
we sent our oldest sent to college, and our youngest sent to pre-K. When I found out that I was pregnant, I cried.
I'll bet you did.
And I hung up on people. I said, I need time to process this. And then I almost died during my pregnancy. So I was like, oh, he's a surprise and he's trying to kill me. He hasn't tried killing me since, though.
Nope, just lots of gray hairs.
He's so like loving. He also has ADHD and he's very like, he's a lot. But so I guess it was good that I had him in my 30s. And I gentle parent him, which is not to say that I don't lose my shit occasionally because, you know, again, he's a lot. But I really try to like, you know, not respond with anger. And my oldest says, like, first of all, who are you? He asks me. You're definitely not the mother that I had growing up. And he's like, I think you're gentle parenting the wrong kid. Or one might say that, you know, I'm doing it wrong because I am gentle parenting and he's a no limit soldier, but I don't know, you know, who knows?
All right, let's wrap this up. You have stuff to do and I have to get back to enjoying my time off.
Yeah. When do I have to edit this? Can I do this tomorrow? Because you're not publishing until Thursday, right?
Well, no, I was going to publish it tomorrow.
Oh, are you publishing tomorrow?
Well, it's the last show of the year.
Oh yeah, that's true. My bad. Alrighty. I will edit tonight then later.
Okie dokie.
We love you too.
All right, everybody, enjoy your New Year's. We will see you in 2026. We'll see
Happy
you
New Year. Everybody be safe. Don't drink and drive. Uber is giving out free rides.
Oh.
Utilize it.
Well, that's nice of them.
Yes, please don't drink and drive. Be safe.
And I don't like Uber, but that is nice of them.
Yes, well, we like anything that doesn't make you drink and drive.
Exactly.
All right, guys.
All right. Bye.